All right, so this is your final assessment of your reaction skills for Science 10 chemistry. Okay, I mean you have a unit exam, but this is like just on reactions. So there are 3 sections to this assignment. Right? Each one of those 3 sections has 10 questions, and all 3 sections are asking you to demonstrate different skills. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go through each section where the marks are, give you, there's a couple of little tips here for a couple of the questions, and then you have the rest of class to work on it. Okay, so for the first set of 10 questions, okay, balance the equation, so that's fill in the blanks. Okay, if it's a 1, put a 1 in the blank. Okay, so I know you just didn't leave it blank. Okay, because if it's all balanced and you don't write anything in there, then I don't know whether you did it or knew it was balanced. Right, like you have to put some 1s in there. Okay, so if it's a 1, put a 1 in the blank. And write it in words. Okay, so here's the marks. You get 1 mark for a balanced reaction. Okay, so the balancing numbers are correct. That's 1 mark. You get 1 mark for the reactants. Okay, so basically the names of the reactants written in word form. All right, you get 1 mark for that, and you get 1 mark for the products in word form. Now, here are the things to watch for in this section. Roman numerals. You are writing the names of compounds. Some ionic compounds will require Roman numerals in their names. Okay? Don't miss them. On the other side of that, don't over-apply it. Sometimes people are like, everything gets a Roman numeral. Okay? Not everything gets a Roman numeral. Make sure you just put them in the right places. You know, like, I don't know, maybe in number 4. Okay? There are probably others, but you know, I'm just dropping 1 there. Okay. The other thing would be, that's it. Yeah, just Roman numerals. The tips I'm going to give you here, okay, will be for number 4. Okay, I would suggest starting with a 2. All right. Questions on the first section? Okay, so 1 mark for reactants, 1 mark for products in word form, 1 mark for a balanced chemical reaction. Okay, that's where you're going to get your marks for this one. Okay, the second set of 10. All right, in the second set of 10, you are giving me the reaction type, okay, a balanced chemical equation. All right, so the marks are 1 mark for it being balanced, 1 mark for the reaction being correct in formula form, obviously on this one, because you're being given the reactions in word form, you are writing it out in formula form. Okay, and 1 mark for the type. Don't forget that. That is by far the easiest mark, okay, on each one of those questions. Okay, but you'd be surprised how often people forget to do it, and they get 2 out of 3 for every one of these. Okay, that's lots of 10 marks out of 90. You don't want that. Okay, so remember to put the type in there. Now, this section tends to be the hardest section. Not because it's hard or because I picked wickedly hard reactions, not at all, but because people make simple mistakes. Here are the simple mistakes you don't want to make. Remember to drop and swap your ionic compounds. People forget or they do it wrong, okay? And as a result, they get the reaction wrong. Special elements. Okay? Here's what can happen in a reaction where there's a special element and you forget it. Okay, so let's just say I pick okay, if I forget that chlorine is special, and I go, how many marks am I going to lose? Two out of three. You probably still get the type right, okay? But you're going to lose 2 out of the 3 marks because this is wrong. And now when I go to balance it, that's supposed to be a 1 because this is supposed to be Cl2. So you'll get the balancing mark wrong as well, okay? Now, everyone, when that happens, they're like, well, I balanced it the way I had it written. Okay, so that still makes it wrong, okay? Okay, it has to be the correct reaction and balanced with the correct reaction. Does that make sense, everybody? So that's why it's super crucial, okay, for you to remember your special elements or remember your drops and swaps, okay? If you forget to do either of those things, then you're going to struggle, okay? And I don't want that for you, so watch out for that, okay? Another thing, brackets on polyatomic ions. Let's do this instead. Is that what lead 2 hydroxide should look like? No. So I lose a mark for the reaction because the reaction's not right. I'm also going to lose a mark for balancing because even if I balance the reaction right, because I didn't have these there, I actually didn't balance it right. Okay, everyone follow me there? It's those little details that are really nitpicky on this section of 10. It's not that the reactions themselves are hard. It's that people forget little details like that. Okay. Other little piece of advice. I think we talked about this at one point, but I just want to remind people of it. If you're having trouble getting an equation to balance, like you get into this kind of infinite loop of, well, I changed that, now I have to change that, and now that changes that, and you just keep going back and forth and cycling, that always happens for one of 2 reasons. You forgot a special element, or you didn't drop and swap something correctly. So if you're struggling to get especially a double replacement reaction to balance, you probably wrecked a swap and drop somewhere. Okay, so just a little piece of advice there. All right, questions on that one, on that section of 10? Okay. All right, the last section of 10, you're just predicting the products and balancing the reaction. Okay, so you got your reactants, write the products, and balance. You don't have to write it in words. You don't have to identify the, well, you don't get a mark for identifying the type. You have to identify the type, obviously, to predict it, but you're not getting a mark for that here. Okay, so you're going to get 1 mark for it being balanced, and 2 marks for your products. Okay, those are the 3 marks. Okay, and again, your tips here, double check your drops and swaps, and double check your special elements. Okay, those are the places where people lose marks. Okay, questions from you guys? All right, we have the rest of class to work on that. I would say probably some of you will finish. Okay, and most of you should be close. Right? If you stay focused, you shouldn't have tons of homework.